right, Bronco Nation news. We are back. We're continuing our summer series here, looking at the Mountain West basketballs. We're doubling up for Lindy's Magazine and Bronco Nation news here, and we're having fun catching up with a lot of the coaches around the league. And next up here, looking forward to this one, Niko Medved, head coach at Colorado State. Coach, year 7 already. Man, it seems like it's gone by pretty quick, but appreciate you for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, you just before we started recording, you're like, man, is this year 7? And I'm like, kind of took a second. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm going into year 7 here at CSU. It's gone by fast.
Yeah, you're one of the more veteran. All of a sudden, you're what, 3rd? Leon's got you. I don't remember when Dutcher actually took over. Who else might have you? You got to be up there. You got to be.
It is, and then
Leon.
I guess then you got to consider though. I mean, Alford, Miles, Joe Scott, are on their 2nd.
They were here and came back. Yeah.
And came back. So they've, been around for a while. So, man, it's a league full of veteran coaches. That's for sure.
What tell us about, just the kind of big picture with your program here in the middle of July, and obviously coming off an NCAA tournament appearance. Maybe we'll get into it later, but still the whole Dayton thing is crazy to me with you and Boise State. But just where are you guys at? You lost, obviously, some key pieces. I know you added some pieces you're happy about. What's kind of the big picture view of your program right now?
Well, it has. It's been a season of change. I mean, we had 5 seniors that we graduated and guys who, contributed a ton. And, losing a guy like Isaiah Stevens, who's been the starting point guard for 5 years is an adjustment for anyone. And so, so with all the new faces, 9 new players, 4 freshmen, 5 transfers, we got 4 returners, who all played minutes. Neek Clifford decided to come back at the draft deadline. That was a big news for us and has been great so far this summer. And so, you kind of feel like you're starting from a little bit different place, guys learning the terminology, learning kind of what we want to do, how we want to play. But it's been great. I've really enjoyed these guys. They're a good group. And I think one of the challenges for probably all of us is, listen, you look around the country, everyone likes their team in the summer, right? Everyone's happy and they like their new guys, just that I'm no different. But I think one of the things that's challenging, it's kind of hard sometimes to understand maybe how you stack up against the other teams, right? In your league or the country, because there's so many new faces around college basketball. And it's really hard to kind of determine where you fit in sometimes, in that pecking order. And so that's been great doing that. I've been recruiting. I was just at the summer league and, watching Isaiah and David Roddy still playing for Phoenix this year a little bit. And both of those guys played great Monday and Tuesday. So that's been fun watching those guys too.
You mentioned the league, and I guess I'll just throw it out there first then. What do you make of this league? And obviously 6 teams in the tournament last year, and that's going to be tough to replicate. But what do you make of just the returning talent in the league that you guys kept on? You kept most of the coaches, back in this league that maybe have flirted with other jobs. But where is this league at now compared to last year? Not to ask you I don't think every player on every roster at this point, but how do you see where Colorado State fits in?
I like our guys. I mean, we're going to be a work in progress with so many new faces. We'll take on our own identity that way. But I like them. I think we've made progress here in the last month, and we got a few weeks left here in the summer, and got to continue to do that. And me get to know these guys as well. And I think the league, BJ, is going to be good. I mean, I think I've heard the chatter. Well, the league lost. A lot of good players. Well, we did lose a lot of good players, but we also kept a lot of good players. I mean, there's a lot of good players that stuck around. You've got continuity in the coaches and in the programs, but what everyone around the country's, there's change, right? There's just it's different all across the landscape of college basketball. So having said that, I think the league's going to be really good again. And how many teams we get in the tournament, who knows? But this is going to continue to be a multiple bid league. You got programs that are doing a great job, and I think it'll be no different this year in the Mountain West. And hopefully we can find a way to come together and connect and find a way to compete towards the top of our league.
You mentioned Isaiah Stevens, Coach. I'm sure this will be the only time you're ever asked moving forward or already about having to replace him. But obviously one of the best players in the entire Mountain West Conference, maybe the MVP in terms of nobody being more important to a team than he was for you guys. How do you try to make up the loss of Isaiah Stevens?
You don't. I mean, you can't. he's such a, once in a lifetime person and player. He's a unicorn. And so you don't, I mean, there's nobody. And I think it's important for some of the guys that are coming in, a Cayenne Evans, for example, is a young guy who's going to play point guard for us, going to play a lot for us, I think. And can't try to be Isaiah, has just got to be himself. And, having said that, there's opportunities for other guys. It's college basketball. People eventually graduate or they leave, and you got to move on. And hopefully we've established something here as a program with the way we play and the culture in it, and the opportunity for some of these new guys to step up. And it's going to look different. There's no question about that, but it will for other teams too, that lost great players. And it's just an opportunity for somebody else to step up.
So trying to figure this out, but based on the roster I'm looking at, you got 4 returning scholarship players. Is that right? Or at least 4 guys that played, last year at some point. You mentioned Clifford. Maybe just touch on how big it was getting him back. I mean, he's one of the best players in the Mountain West coming back. And then your other 3 returners, what you hope to get out of them as well.
It was huge to get, Neek back at the deadline. And, this is the 3rd year in a row we've gone up to the draft deadline, with a guy. And one of the things I really love, or I'm proud of, I thought in all 3 situations, I tried to be really, really supportive of them and help them figure it out. And I think in all 3 cases, the players made the best decision for themselves. And I think they made the right decision for themselves. And, Neek's, and those are hard decisions, but I think as he got all the information and came back, I think he really felt like, coming back for another year was going to be great for him. And hopefully he'll take the bull by the horns and do that. The role is going to be different, right? Is that guy now who he's kind of came onto the scene, and now he's, starts the year on the top of the scouting reports, but I think he's ready for that, and it's going to mature. And, another guy, I mean, a guy like Jalen Lake is another unicorn. He's been with us 4 years now. His entire career, he's going to play for us here at CSU. And I've really noticed a maturity in him in the off season. And, Jalen went through a lot last year, on and off the court. And I think he's going to really have a great season for us. He's an excellent defender and veteran guy, and is a great young man. And so having veteran guys like that are going to be really good. And then guys like Cayenne and Rashawn Bemba, I think, were freshmen that, maybe just based on who we had, they played, but they didn't get to play a lot of minutes. But we really believe in those guys. And I think a lot of programs can say that, but it's going to be huge for them now. They got minutes last year, all season, important minutes, and now they're going to have to take the next step. And so, again, we've got 9 new guys, but those are 4 guys that did play for us, and they know what winning looks like.
So 5 incoming transfers, 4 freshmen, if I added it up correctly. The 5 transfers, you got some guys that had put up some big numbers, some guys that have some intriguing additions, at least on paper, and some guys at Power 5 level, some guys at different levels. I know Keyshawn Williams, 18 points a game at Northern Illinois is obviously a big one. You've got, Northern Iowa transfer as well. Maybe just touch on what excites you about some of the transfers, please.
Well, you look at the backcourt like that. I mean, Keyshawn's a kid that, is a electric athlete, can score, knows how to play. He missed pretty much basically all of last season with, a knee injury. And I think, he looks healthy now. He's back and kind of taking some time to get back into a rhythm, but he's full go for us right now in the summer. And, excited about him, kind of getting him back in a rhythm, and think he's a guy that can really have an impact on both ends of the floor. I mean, Bowen Bourne, again, he's a kid that's averaged, 2 years ago, he averaged 18 points a game at Northern Iowa. And what did he average? Close to 15 last year. He's a hoops junkie, can really, really score and shoot the ball, plays with an incredible motor, plays the right way. And again, is a veteran coming from a good program, like Northern Iowa. Kid Jalen Crocker Johnson, was the OVC freshman of the year, is a big kid that can, play inside, outside, just a great young man. I think he's going to be a terrific player for us, and, has 3 years of eligibility left. And kid Ethan Morton, from Purdue is a guy I'm really excited about. I mean, Ethan didn't play as many minutes last year, but remember, he was a starter at Purdue 2 years ago on a Big Ten championship team. And, he's an excellent athlete, an excellent defender, passer, really knows how to play, and I think will be a great fit for our system and our culture. And Nikola Japa is a kid we just got transfer. He's a Serbian kid. He just got here this summer, was back home and was going to play national team, but that didn't happen. And so he's just really kind of working his way back into the mix. So yeah, we've got an interesting blend of new guys and guys who played minutes at the college level and newcomers and those 4 guys. And so it's different, this time around. But the one thing, they're all great guys. So I really enjoyed working with them, and just got to keep our head down and keep going.
It's funny looking at how these different coaches put the rosters together. I talked to Steve Alford yesterday, and he said, first time in my 34 years, I have 0 freshmen on the roster. And you've obviously got 4. Do you expect any of those 4 to contribute? Tell us about the freshmen.
Maybe, it's a little early, yet to know for sure, but I like all of them a lot. I mean, people who've watched us play, you come in as a freshman, there's a lot going on. So, sometimes for freshmen, you can really see the potential, but really that light starts to click later in the fall, where it looks like, hey, I can really do this. And, Kyle Jorgensen, who's a freshman from Minnesota, big kid, he has got a tremendous offensive skill set and a feel, especially, the way we play, can really shoot the 3 and is as good a passer as we have in the program. He's got great length, great hands. And, he's a guy that looks like he's going to be a heck of a player at this level. And I go on and on. Jaden Stepp's a big kid with skill and size. John Mekkinen's a high major athlete who's just got to, let the game slow down for him. And Darnez Slater is for a freshman, he's got great instincts and IQ. And so we got 13 guys we believe in. Now, last time I checked, you don't play 13. So we've still got time to figure out what that's going to look like for us. And it'll be a challenge, but I really like this group.
I just can't get past Bowen Bourne, coach. Northern Iowa, it's got me thinking Ali Farouk Namesh, me being a Kansas guy. I was there when that happened. I just I love everything about your program, except that I finally went up and talked to him at the Mountain West tournament and had some fun with that, because my friends, we weren't always saying his name positively there for a while.
Well, BJ, you're too nice, because I know you don't love everything about our program.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah. We
love
one of the
court storming. I didn't like one of the court stormings. I thought there was you guys finished second place. I remember there was a court storm that I thought was unnecessary.
You know what? We should talk, because this is Mountain West inside stuff. You know what's funny about that? We stormed the court like the last 5 home games. So it wasn't just for you. Like, it became something. It was kind of the year after COVID, and we're having a great year, and the students were so engaged. I was just like, man, it just became a thing. They wanted to have fun. It wasn't like, oh, we finished second. And it was just like, we did it for all those games. And it was just kind of our way and the students' way of connecting. We had sold out our student section for most of the year. And to be honest, I was kind of encouraging it for all those games, because they've been cooped up for so long and we were having so much fun. And so it wasn't anything personal to the Broncos.
Oh, no, and I'm trying to come around on it. Everyone calls me the old, crotchety guy that doesn't let the college kids have
crotchety, man. These students are supposed to be fun,
I'm
man.
trying to come around. I'm trying to
you
come around.
still won the league. What do you complain about?
I didn't do nothing. I just covered the team.
Yeah.
I have, like I said, I went to Kansas, man. We're not used to storming the court ever. So I just, I'm just trying to. Yeah. You know what? Even at Boise State, I got on them for doing it once, and the fans got on me. I'm trying to come around and say, you know what? Your college kids have a good time.
Let them have fun, BJ.
There used to be a time when it was like a top 10 upset, or like your huge rival, like where it actually really, really meant something. And now it seems like it's just any close game again. It just happens almost every other game. But I
evolve. Let them have fun.
I made a promise this year that I will not make any more comments. That might have been one of my most viral tweets ever, that your fan base just absolutely let me have it when I said I didn't understand.
BJ, I got to take over your job. Everybody heard it here first. BJ just said on the air that he's not going to complain about court storming.
I won't. Do it every game you want. I'm done talking about court storming.
I don't even think the administration doesn't let us do it anymore, so I think it's over anyway.
Okay. Even the Boise State fans got on me for it when I said it was really necessary one game. So I'm done. I'm going to let them have their fun. It should be another fun Mountain West year. And I asked this to Steve Alford. I'm curious from your perspective, Coach, to kind of wrap this up. The whole, like, you and Boise State getting sent to Dayton and New Mexico maybe having to win the tournament to get in. What I'm sure when you're trying to make your schedule this year, you're trying to find out what do you got to do and what position do you have to be in so that doesn't happen again? Like, whether it was at league meetings or whatever you've done, how have you tried to figure out what happened last year in terms of the seeding and why you guys didn't get credit for some of those in-league quad one wins and how you try to, combat that this year so it doesn't happen again?
Well, we could really go down a rabbit hole here, and I don't know that, this is the place to do that. But, Again, I mean, from an outside looking in, and I asked this question to people, I said, again, that those 12 people that are in the selection committee, they ultimately get to decide. But, it's last time I checked, they have access to the exact same analytics and data as everybody else, whether you're one of the, 100 people that do it on the bracket matrix or all the media people. And typically I've done this for the last 6-7 years. You pretty much there's always a couple outliers, but everyone's pretty much in agreement. And I just thought it was fascinating that the 12 people on the selection committee saw the Mountain West like at least one seed line to a seed line and a half lower than everybody else in the country. So there seemed to be something particular that way. And, honestly, when you ask different people, you got different answers. And, what I'm thinking that I find fascinating is, when you have an opportunity maybe to ask the people on the selection committee and you ask them a question like, well, what are the most important factors to you in determining, how you select your at-large teams? And to be honest, they all kind of had different things. Somebody might say, well, for me, it's, the non-conference strength of schedule. For me, it's, whatever, how you, road games. You could go on and on. And so to me, a lot of it is up to the discretion of those 12 people in the room and kind of what they feel and what they determine is the most important of all the factors that the NCAA lines out. And sometimes I just think we could do a better job of transparency that way. And to me, a quad one win's a quad one win. I mean, I don't understand like how that is. We all play by the same rules. And so I think maybe they should do a better job of being transparent and saying, okay, well, these are the factors. These are the things that this is the charge for the selection committee that we think these things are the most important things. And then we all can, make the decisions and schedule accordingly. But it was disappointing. But then I think you have to remember this too. It was a really strange year for how many bid stealers there were. Typically it's the 11 seeds that are in Dayton. Very rarely are 10 seeds in Dayton. It's usually that 11-6 game, that is there. But you had so many bid stealers, including one from our league, right? New Mexico was not going to get in unless they won the tournament. And so you got to see those. Yeah, you got to see those 10 seeds, like us and Boise slide to Dayton. So that was a little bit of an anomaly as well. But it is what it is. We just got to continue to do our best and schedule and win and, have success when we get to the tournament.
So what do you got schedule wise this year?
We're still finalizing one game, but I think we're done. We're going to play, I think, in a great event out in Palm Springs over Thanksgiving. We'll play, I think, Washington, TCU, and Santa Clara in there. We've got our annual shot at CU down in Boulder, the home and home that we have. We're going to play VCU on a neutral court. And I think we're close to playing Ole Miss on a semi-neutral too. So we've got a good schedule. And I haven't, I've talked a little bit to the other coaches in the league, but it sounds like the rest of the Mountain West is doing the same thing. And now we've got to find a way to win. And so, we're going to play with 20 games, 20-game league schedule, which will be different this year. And I think everyone's kind of curious to see how that works for everyone.
That was another one that had a lot of fan bases on me. I thought that was great. I think that had to happen. I don't know where you had on that, but I thought that just makes too much sense. Have everybody play everybody and have a fair way to determine the champion. But some people,
I do too. And, I could be in the minority. I think it all comes down to, I think it makes sense for us, in my opinion, but I think the bigger factor is then we've got to make sure that, we're able to use those games to schedule, give us enough flexibility to, it's where you play those games. So we still have enough flexibility to schedule who we need to schedule in the non-league. But, you look at the way our league is going, and a lot of teams had great years, but if you don't think that, the way the unbalanced schedule worked out last year had an impact in league standings, of course it did. You know what I mean? I mean, it did. And that can be seeding in the conference tournament and all those things. I think those things are a factor. And so I think
don't tell that to Utah State fans, Coach. Utah State fans didn't want to hear that last year.
Well, that's not taken away. They had an unbelievable year, and that's not to take away anything from them, but it does. When one game here or there can separate 3 spots in the standings or whatever, it does. This way, no one has a gripe. And I know it's more important to get to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
For most coaches, they'd rather do that than win the regular season championship. I get that. But at the same point in time, I think those things do matter. And, and I think we just got to be creative as a league of making sure we schedule in the non-league the right way. And I believe that we can.
Yeah, an interesting discussion, both sides of it. But Coach, appreciate your time. Kept you a few minutes longer than I said I would, so I apologize. But thank you so much. Looking forward to, I guess they're doing media days down in Vegas in October again. So looking forward to catching up with you down there, and best of luck finishing up the summer. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, PJ.